Hey guys, I wanted to send you this message since this is the second Sunday that we don't have church and you've already gone through a week without school because of these things that are going on. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what happens in the reading, the gospel that is going to be read at Mass. It's a very interesting story. It's a story about somebody who is blind. Do you know what it means to be blind? Blind means that you can't see. Somebody that cannot see. You can imagine how terrible that is. You cannot see other people. You cannot see beautiful things. You cannot see anything. Imagine you close your eyes and all you see is dark all the time. That sounds like a pretty bad thing. So in this gospel, there is somebody like that, but he was born that way. He was never able to see. He was always blind. His eyes only saw darkness. And that's kind of how his life was. Because imagine, if you cannot see, that means you can't read, that means you probably can't write, that means it's hard for you to have a job. If you can't have a job, you're probably not going to have money. If you don't have money, that means somebody else needs to take care of you. So it's pretty bad. What you find in today's gospel is this guy who was born like this, not able to see. And because of that, all he could do was to sit down in the street asking people to give him some money, asking people to have a little pity on him, feel bad for him because of what a bad thing he's going through. And with that money, maybe he can buy some food and just kind of keep going until the next day where he's going to do the same thing all over again. So that's what's happening. And all of a sudden, Jesus walks with his friends and they see this person. And Jesus' friends say to Jesus, "Look, this is somebody who's going through something very hard. That can't be a good thing. Why is he going through that? Why are things so bad for him? Is it because God is punishing him? Or maybe it's because God is punishing his parents. Because when something bad like that happens, it has to be because somebody did something bad, right? That's what the question is. If something really bad is happening, it must be because somebody did something bad." Can you think about for yourselves something that is bad? But I would say something bad maybe that is uncomfortable or that you're not used to. Like imagine having to stay in your room all the time. Imagine that you are grounded. And when you are grounded, you can't leave your house, you can't go out, be with your friends. Oh, wait a minute, that's kind of what's happening right now. So it seems like we are grounded. And so it's like a bad thing. And so maybe it's the same question. Why is something bad happening to me right now? Did I do something wrong? That's the question. Why am I grounded? Why am I stuck in the house? Why can't I go to school? Why can't I go to church? Why am I not able to see my friends? Why is this happening? Did I do something wrong? Did somebody do something wrong? And that's why we are grounded? That's the question. So Jesus answers the question, by the way. So if you have that question, if you have the question, why are these things happening right now? Well, Jesus is going to give you an answer today. So that's pretty cool, right? So here, the question. Who did something wrong? This person because he was born blind? Or his parents? Because it has to be some kind of punishment. And Jesus says, no, it's not a punishment. No, it's not that somebody did something wrong. Yeah, maybe it seems like what has happened to him is bad. Maybe it's uncomfortable. Maybe it's difficult. But there's a reason why it happened. Same thing for us. Yeah, maybe it's uncomfortable. Maybe it's not the way we like things. But there's a reason. And what is that reason? Well, Jesus says about this person. He says, the reason he was born this way, the reason he was born without being able to see, is so that the glory of God may be shown in him. What? What does that even mean? So that the glory of God might be shown in him? Yeah. But what is the glory of God? What is the power of God? Who is God, actually? See, that's kind of the bigger question. Because the glory of God means something very simple. The glory of God means that part of God that you can see. Example, the sun. It's very hard to look directly at the sun. So, well, don't try it. But what can you see of the sun? Well, first of all, usually you can see a glow around the sun, and you can see everything else when the sun is out. When it's nighttime, you can't see. But when it's sunny out, because the sun is there, you can see everything else. And you can look up and you see a circle, a glow, but the sun itself you cannot see. Well, that is the glory of God. It's what God shows of himself. Which means Jesus is saying, right now, this person who's going through this bad thing is going through this bad thing so that God can show himself in his life. Same thing for us. We are going through this difficult moment, this tough situation in our lives, so that we can see God working with us. And it's important that we understand this, so that we can see. In this gospel, this man cannot see. So what does Jesus do right after he says that? He kind of bends over to the ground. He does something a little bit nasty. He spits on the ground, like spits. And with the spit, he mixes it with earth. And he makes like a little mud in his hands. He throws it in the eyes of this person who is blind and tells him, go wash your eyes. Now, let's stop for a second. First of all, this guy who is blind has not asked anybody to help him see. Has not asked anybody. He is minding his business. He is living his regular life. He is used to the fact that he cannot see, and he's not interested in anything else. All he wants to do is just keep living his life the way he has. And suddenly comes this guy who spits on the ground, makes mud, and throws mud in his eyes and tells him, go wash. Now imagine you're there minding your business, you can't see, and suddenly somebody throws mud in your eyes. First of all, what do you think about that person? Don't say it, no bad words. And then on top of that, he tells you, now go wash your face. Well, of course I'm gonna go wash my face. You just threw mud in my eyes. So he does that. He gets up, he goes to wash, and when he washes his face, he can see. Imagine, all of a sudden, his whole life has changed. Before he couldn't see, and now he can see. Before he couldn't work, now he could work. Before he couldn't read, now he can read. Before he couldn't see beautiful things, now he can see them. But it all had to happen when Jesus spat on the ground and made mud. And with that mud, he threw it in his eyes and made him uncomfortable. We need to be made uncomfortable, because the real problem is not the fact that we are grounded at home, that we cannot go to school. The real problem is not of what is happening around us. The real problem is not that we are scared or bored or I don't know what. The real problem for this man was not just that he could not see. The real problem for that man was that because he could not see the face of God. For us, the real problem is not the things that are happening around us. The real problem is, do we know that we have a dad who is in heaven, who loves us and does everything for us? Or maybe we are stuck in our little problem. Well, Jesus comes to throw mud in our eyes. Being home right now It's like Jesus taking mud and throwing it in your eyes and making you uncomfortable. You can do two things. You can get mad and say this is not fair and this is not right and why is this happening? Or you can go wash. And what does it mean to go wash? It means to let God do the work He wants to do in your life. Let Him love you. Let Him care for you. Let Him make you happy even now when things are not the way you want them to be. I could say many, many, many more things, but I'm not going to. I think that's enough. I think it's important, my friends, that you pray, that you continue to do the things that you're supposed to do, and that you don't get upset. Don't complain. And if you get bored, maybe you feeling bored is another way of Jesus throwing that mud in your eyes to remind you, hey, I'm here, I'm trying to help you. Maybe you can say a prayer then. Pray for your parents, pray for your brothers and sisters, pray for me, because I need it, because I'm stuck in this church. And I really, really hope we get to see each other soon, okay? Be good, take care of yourselves. If you want to contact me, you want to call me, you want to FaceTime me, I'm here, okay? Be good.